Hey everyone, welcome back to Knowledge Mondays. I'm your host, Dana Alfirovic, and this is your go-to weekly series for quick and actionable networking advice. I'm thrilled to introduce today's special guest, Jessica Gonzalez of Jessica of All Trades. She does marketing, events, books, and speaking engagements. Jessica, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited to really talk about how important social media and marketing is when it comes to networking. Very essential.
Yeah, absolutely. And our theme this month is online networking and social media. So, Jessica, it's really great to have you here. My first question for you is, what's the right way for business owners to use social media for networking and relationship building?
I would very much utilize it as a platform to promote yourself and other people. So, kind of see social media as something that needs to be social. So, a big way that I've utilized my social media, and I'll share my personal experience and then I can get into clients, is that I very much promote other people. I'm big on celebrating the wins of people I'm associated with who I look up to career-wise. I did that a few weeks ago, and that became one of my highest posts that had reactions on LinkedIn. And it was a great celebration of my friend's birthday and also her success of her company as well, too. And also, I was able to tag a lot of other people. And then that's really good because it's showing that you're socializing on the platform. So that's always a key thing to remember. And also, it's very, very big to remember what it is that you stand for. Another client that I worked with was very big on positivity and entrepreneurship and, living healthy in Atlanta. And we always came up with ideas on how to repurpose content that aligned with the client, but also promoted smaller brands as well, too. And that ended up having us jump from, I think it was 96,000 followers up to 130 something thousand followers within less than a year. So, again, it's all about what you stand for, your branding and everything, and also remembering to socialize on social media. So, big things.
I think that's so important to promote other people, because it's also it's not promotional or salesy, but also you're celebrating their wins, and people will be like, wow, she's a really good person. So it's like a win-win, even though it's like promoting your friend, like you in turn, get promoted because like people will see it on your feed. Like, your network engages with it because it's your highest post. Like that's such a great idea. And I think more people should be making posts about, people in their network to congratulate them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very overlooked, but so worth it.
So let's talk about what types of posts actually help attract getting clients on social media without sounding super pushy, promotional, or salesy.
Honestly, a big thing, excuse me, a big thing that is trending is just authenticity. It's letting people see you fail and learning from those failures. It's a really big thing. It's being vulnerable with, the career ups and downs. I feel like most of the entrepreneurs I really enjoy connecting with and looking up to have also shared their horror stories at times where they're like, I've had to hunt down clients who wouldn't pay me. I have, had a bad business partner where I had to sever ties. I've heard, when you hear that and then you see them skyrocket once they learn from those mistakes, it's phenomenal. A very great person that did this as well was Codie Sanchez. Shout out to her. She's a huge inspiration, definitely worth following. But she openly vocalized, she's like, I had business partners steal millions of dollars from me. She's like, I had personal issues going on while my businesses were struggling. And she is now on track to being YouTube's like first billionaire essentially, just from learning the ups and downs of, you know, knowing how to sell herself and tell her stories to people and connect with her audience. And I think that's something I also like to emphasize as well too is I might not always get it right, but I try my best. And usually I'm like, okay, I've messed up. I may not have a good point in my business right now, but I'm gonna keep trying, and that's a huge thing. And honestly, don't be afraid to mess up. I think one woman, she's like, don't be afraid to F up. That's how we learn. That's how business works.
Cool.
So the authenticity, the rawness, the mistakes, that is really great to just want to make people work with you because they're working with a human. And in the day of AI, people just want to feel like they're working with a human. No shade to AI, but
Maybe a little.
as
I
is.
guess.
Maybe just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really impactful. And I've heard of Codie Sanchez before, so I'm gonna look her up more. But I really like how you said authenticity and like being vulnerable about your mistakes. Because, like, in my opinion, I think LinkedIn can be just as toxic as Facebook and Instagram. And it's not, you've seen, like photoshopped, woman, perfect woman everywhere, but like people are like, oh, I did this. I just sold my company X million dollars. I started my first company at 17. We sold X, just got funding, just closed, 5 deals. It's all bragging about your achievements. And sometimes I feel like, oh, well, it makes me feel bad sometimes, honestly. So I do like posts that are authentic. And I think that's great, to like relate to someone you're working with.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. Sometimes the success bloat, as we like to say, it just implodes and it just makes people feel like they're like, what's the point? But the reality is, I've kind of been driven a lot more towards people who are like, not in the best place. I'm still looking for work, but I know I have these skills because of my past. I remember I forgot her name, but I started following her, and now I think she actually is in a C-suite where she's a chief executive officer now. And I'm like, look at you. You see, honestly, that's just really worth seeing it. Going on the journey with someone is so much better than just being there for the success.
I love that. So, when we're a business owner, obviously you need to make some posts about your services and products to get, leads and people to know. But like, how do you balance those promotional posts with making a post that's genuine, like genuine advice for people? Any tips on balancing those two?
I do think tips are very important, and those could be a little more frequent as well, because sometimes you might have ideas pop into your head and you can just randomly post that, and it can do very well. I would say with promotional stuff, people like a nice build up. So always remember that's more campaigning. Because, like, for example, if I just saw this on Instagram, so I'm going to use it as an example. Sydney Sweeney recently is launching her own lingerie line. That
Mhm.
was something I did not see coming. But right now, it's not even launched yet, but she's starting to campaign. She's starting to, post videos. She's starting to do the unboxing, all this stuff. And then obviously, from there comes the big launch because the thing is when you start doing promotional stuff you're kind of catching people in a way where they're like, oh, I didn't know you were working on this. So I would say that it's the different ways that you're marketing both. So with everyday little bits of knowledge, that's your personal brand of people getting to know you. When you're campaigning, whether it's for, a lingerie brand, a book, or a course that you're going to launch, it's like a nice little slow buildup that you can kind of utilize. So I would very much understand those concepts in marketing. I think they're very key to understanding how to balance those two. But yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting, and that's actually true about Sydney Sweeney. I saw like I think she was like got arrested, or maybe we'll get like trespass like from the Hollywood sign. But like, yeah, I heard about that, and I guess like I thought she already launched it, but yeah, like the anticipation, the buildup, that's really smart actually. To like people think like, oh well, like where is this? So that's really smart. So
Don't get arrested though.
yeah,
Don't
don't
get
get
arrested.
arrested. Yeah. So, what's a common mistake you see when people try to get clients from social media?
I would say is going in with the intention that this is absolutely going to become a client and being very salesy. It's very good to kind of just start fostering relationships with people who you really connect with. Again, with social media, yeah, you can see someone's posts and everything, and you can think that, oh, we're into similar things, that the energies are going to sync, but they might not. And
Mhm.
sometimes it might not be the best move. And again, sometimes you don't know a entrepreneur or solopreneurs current situation. Like they may want to work with you, but they may not be in the place that they want to work with you yet. And I've experienced that as well too. And I never want to push that either. I'd rather us stay in a lane where we're celebrating each other on social media, which is a great thing to do. Bring in more positivity. And you know what? Honestly, just having their presence alongside your account is very good too. So there's always value in just knowing someone on social media, like connecting with them, going live with them, building that relationship is really great. And I would say, yeah, do not do the whole DMs, oh, schedule this time with me, all this other stuff. Like, get to know them for sure. That's very important. Energies are very important, but go in with the intention of actually knowing someone, not making a sale, not gaining a client, foster relationships because that is where I've seen the most success with so many people.
I see. So if they like comment, they're interested in, marketing services, you just have a call with them, but it's just like a get to know you, like one to one, like no pressure. Is that kind of what you recommend?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's always great to have a one-on-one to kind of connect, see where you guys are at. And if it's the perfect match where you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, great. If it's something where maybe it's too much money for them or they're not sure if they're ready for that next step, that's still something to keep in mind. Your energy will always linger with them. And that's very, very good because I've noticed that with a lot of my other friends who also work in marketing. They say, yeah, it's weird enough. It took me 6 months to actually work with this person. I met with them once, and then 6 months later, they messaged me saying they want to work with me. So, again, always be patient too, is another thing. That is a huge, huge thing with social media. Be patient. Things will come if you let them.
That's so true. And yeah, like, it's always like business is a long-term, long-term venture. So let's say you have someone, you're friends with on LinkedIn. They reached out about say marketing services and you guys had a great one-on-one call and she was really interested with in your services, but let's just say, no matter what, like her price, she can't afford it, and no payment plan or anything. Like she just straight up can't afford it. How do you like nurture that relationship? Is there like, do you check in or just like maybe leave a comment? What's the best way to kind of stay relevant to her in a non-salesy way?
Definitely always commenting for reach is always a good thing. I've seen one of my friends do this, and I start doing this as well with people who I don't necessarily work with, but we're really good in terms of our relationships. So you can always put commenting for reach to help them, and that really does help them in the algorithm, and it shows that you care, which is really great. You want to see that kind of thing on social media. You want to feel that on authenticity of, I want to see you succeed. It's always great. I would say also, if you guys, because I mean, the world can be big and small. If you guys live in the same city, invite them to your events, which would be great. Maybe they
Mhm.
might not be able to work with you, do retainers or anything, but they can support you by going to your event and then posting about it. Same with you. You can go to their event and post about it. Another one would also be like virtual events as well too. And that one's also great because I've invited some people who they like my work, but sometimes they might not be able to afford my retainer. I invite them to virtual events, or I do introductions with people who might be able to help them as well too. Like, oh, this person's connected in the food industry and you own a charcuterie business. You guys should probably talk and see what can happen from there. And it can lead to great things, and who knows? Long term, maybe they find that success they've been waiting for and they can finally work with you.
I think that's really genius to build a relationship with your prospects and still engage with them even after it didn't work out right then and there. So, like commenting on their posts, that's really, because you might think like some people might think, oh, like that's a lead, not someone in my network. But they could be in your network. So yeah, commenting on their posts, that's really good. And also, yeah, like inviting them to events as well. So I'm gonna actually implement that more myself because yeah, it's all about, building the relationships. And just because, they're a lead today, maybe they could be a referral partner if it doesn't work out. So I think that's really especially with the virtual events too. Like, oh, come to, H7 network meeting. It's virtual, so
Exactly. There you go. There's a great way you can build relationships. It always doesn't have to be like leads or clients. It could be your referral partner. It could be someone who does a discounted thing for an event that maybe you want to do or something. There's always multiple ways you can work together.
so let's talk about networking in Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups. What are some good practices for that? Like, you join your local business owner group in your city. How can you network there online?
I would say, so I would say a big thing is to understand those social media channels. So when it comes to Facebook, it's more geared towards community and neighborhoods. And that's something I've noticed as well myself. So again, it's changed very much so since Facebook first launched when I was like in middle school, which is crazy to think about how much time has flown at this point. But very much engage with your community and be open to asking questions is a big thing. Show them that you're curious about your community, your neighborhood, and that you want to engage. So it doesn't have to necessarily start off with salesy pitches or anything. It could just be asking local questions, doing your research, and actually asking people, what are some issues in the neighborhood? Where do you think we could improve? If I'm going back to Codie Sanchez, maybe for some reason, the trash delivery service is not that great in the neighborhood. Everyone doesn't really like it. What if that's a potential business opportunity for you? Where you're like, wait, what if I start and launch my own little trash business company and I can guarantee that I can fix these mistakes? It's always a good thing. I would say that's phenomenal with Facebook, especially being in those groups. LinkedIn is really good to get to know people in industries you are fascinated by. I would say, there's nothing wrong with following people who may be in tech, maybe in AI, maybe in beauty, health, all this stuff. It's really good to kind of understand what they're doing business-wise and copy some of their models. So I would say that's what LinkedIn's really great for, just copying some things that you really love and engage with from certain creators. And then Instagram is very much like the pretty aesthetics. So, I mean, that is more geared towards, the things that you enjoy. I would say, health, beauty, all that stuff. If you can make something engaging and interesting, that's great. I would also steer away from, personally, in my opinion, anything that might be considered doom scrolling. Like too much news can be a lot for people.
Mhm.
So it all depends on how you're utilizing the Instagram platform, but each platform has different purposes at this point, for sure.
Good, thank you. That was so um informational. So, do you think it's better to comment in different Facebook groups, or should you kind of make your own like post in the group? Or should you do both?
Um, I would absolutely do both. Commenting is really good because it shows that you're paying attention to the people, and that's very, very important because sometimes we forget. And I mean, it's normal. We all have our own lives offline. So sometimes we forget to like look at maybe questions people are asking that we can answer for them. So it's very important to engage with other posts, but also it's important to show that you yourself are engaging and asking questions and you want to learn from other people. So always balance the two is a big thing. Make sure you have an even amount that you're contributing to the communities.
That's good. And it sounds like kind of I'm getting from this talk like balance is key to everything. Like you can have your promotional posts, but also, have your genuine tips post, no, call to action about, a boot camp or, a networking course.
Yeah, yeah. Give it time. The patience is very much key. Even in marketing, it's huge. So, yeah.
So, what's one simple habit someone can start doing weekly to boost their online media presence with their network?
I would say, in my opinion, just share a little win. Does it can be both personal and business wise. Because I've noticed just sharing like tiny bits about things that went well that week or, something I learned from has really increased my numbers. Because I think, for example, I posted that I had a weird experience on an online networking event and it got a lot of attraction and people were actually relating to me because they're like, "Oh my gosh, I had someone come into an event I was hosting and they like hijacked my Zoom and then they were trying to like put up these weird images." And I was like, "Okay, that's intense, but I'm glad
Yeah,
that you're okay." Like it adds to that relatability. Also, post photos even if they're not the best, just show that you're human. That's a great thing. Little wins, I think just even attending an event is a big deal. Even if it's I ran like what half a mile and I'm not used to that, but it shows I'm going to keep going. And if you keep working hard, you can achieve certain goals. Again, it's always the little wins that are worth posting at least once a week.
that's great. And that's a super easy post, no need to like overthink it. Just like share win. And that's also going to make you think more positively by sharing wins. So, Jessica, my last question for you is if someone feels overwhelmed by social media, what's one thing they should focus on to start seeing results?
I would say definitely focus on more positivity. Don't engage in doom scrolling. Don't indulge like on the things that you don't have in life. Like someone going to Paris twice a month, not that important. Doom scrolling through a lot too much news, not that good. Look, follow and engage with people who are, giving tips, spreading positivity, giving quotes, words of wisdom. Those are really good things to help inspire you because your social media does reflect what you're into in the present moment. So if you're seeing a lot of negative things or things you don't feel like you can achieve, you're going to be very discouraged. When you start seeing more positive things, it's going to help you mentally feel like social media is a better, not as much of a negative place to be as you would think it is. There are these positive channels, these really positive places on social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook that are worth going to that can really help shift your mindset. Because I used to be that way myself too, because it's sometimes stressful when you're seeing so much that you're
Mhm.
like, I don't have these things. Oh my gosh, this happened. And then it can really impair your ability to want to post. But when you see a lot more positive things, even if it's little tiny things like a snowflake that I think I saw someone post, just saying, can you just appreciate the beauty of nature? Those things are worth it. So you don't need to follow the trends. You can be your own trend and you can attract people by just being a nice, positive version of yourself. And that builds the authenticity and the right community that you're looking for.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jessica. If folks want to learn more about you, where can they find you?
Oh, yeah. I'm on almost every social media platform, obviously. So I'm Jessica S. Gonzalez on LinkedIn and Facebook, just because my name is very common. So that's why I put my middle initial. On Instagram, it's Jessica of all trades, underscore between each, and two S's at the end. So Jessica underscore of underscore all underscore trades with two S's at the end. And it's just me with my hair really big and everything. And yeah, if anyone's interested in working with me, they can feel free to message me. I do one-offs, I do monthly retainers, I do virtual and in-person events and workshops and whatnot. And I'm more than happy to help anyone anywhere within the US area to really help them get their brand out there, establish a really great community, and really engage with people as well in you know, a healthy way that feels genuine and authentic.
Great. Well, thank you again, Jessica, and thank you so much, everyone, for watching. If you found this helpful, please make sure to give us a follow to support and share it with some friends and tag some friends as well who could benefit from this advice. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.